Your back is torched from standing after just a few minutes. Let's talk about why this is and what you can do about it. So usually when it comes to individuals having back pain after standing for just a few minutes, it's usually from one major thing. This is extremely common with a lot of the individuals I work with, and it used to be pretty common for me until I made a few simple tweaks. So what happens with a lot of people is they have tightness in some areas and weakness in other areas, okay? So what we need to do is, of course, lengthen or stretch out those areas that are tight and then strengthen the areas that are weak. The areas that are typically weak when we have back pain after standing for a few minutes are your core and your glutes, okay? So your tummy muscles, your rectus abdominis, and your glute muscles, those big strong muscles back there. So it would make sense that we need to do a couple exercises to just strengthen these areas. On the flip side, your hip flexors, or the muscles on the front of your hip that help to raise your leg up high, are usually very tight, in addition to your lower back being very tight. So I'm going to show you 4 quick exercises that can greatly help those specific areas, because what actually happens with these different tightnesses and imbalances is that your pelvis starts to slowly tip forward. So you're kind of almost like doing what's called your butt sticking out. It's kind of like a Donald Duck butt. So it's turning out, it's arching your back more, and it's putting it in a very compromised position, which can put a lot of stress and pain in your lower back area. So we'll first start out with a good hip flexor stretch. That's going to be the first stretch. You're going to be in a kneeled position for this one, okay? So if you need something that's kind of good on the ground for you, that's not going to hurt, that's what I would recommend. And then all you're going to do is going to get in kind of this lunge position, and then you're just going to gently push that knee forward. And when you do this, you're going to feel a very light pull and stretch through your hip flexor. I'll go ahead and do this on the other side so you can really see this. Just going forward, nice and easy, very gentle tug and pull here. If you want to make this a little more intense, you can actually bring your arm up and over to make it more intense. You can even squeeze the butt cheek of that side that's on it. You're going to really feel it. The further you go forward, the more it'll stretch. Try to do about 1 total minute on each leg every single day. So that's the first exercise. The next exercise we'll do is a core strengthening exercise. This is going to be helping to strengthen the rectus abdominis. And the thing about this is that we don't want to do is to strengthen our hip flexors. What happens with a lot of people when they do core exercises, they'll work the rectus abdominis as well as the hip flexors. We're going to try to minimize the hip flexor work. So all we're going to do is a basic crunch here. So I'm going to have my hands up overhead, and we're basically going to try to think about punching our hands up through the wall and then come down. The key thing with this one though is to make sure that your lower back is flush against the back of the ground, okay? That's gonna force your transverse abdominis to kind of engage quite a bit, and it's gonna disengage your hip flexors when you do this. So think about belly button to spine while coming up as high as you can and down, up and down. And you're doing basically this until you feel a good burn. You'll probably feel it pretty quickly too. You can actually add weight to this, but I would recommend just doing it, trying to really feel that engagement at the front. And just a few of those movements will greatly target your rectus abdominis to get that strong. So those are the first 2. The last 2 are going to cover your lower back, of course, and your glutes. To strengthen the glutes, we'll do that first. We're going to do a glute bridge. And there's a lot of good ways to do the glute bridge. This one we're just going to do on the ground. It's a very simple move. So your feet are going to be a few feet from your butt. And all you're thinking about doing is squeezing your butt, bringing your hips up to the sky, coming down, and doing multiple repetitions. If you're just starting out on this, make sure that you keep your lower back nice and straight throughout the movement. When doing this too, you're trying to think about just hips up as high as you can. You can even hold this position for a few seconds. If you want to, over time, you can have some weight across your lap here. That's a great idea. But just, again, doing these mainly to reactivate those muscles that are weak and unactivate the muscles that are very tight. You will notice just after doing these for a little bit, it will help greatly. So let's go ahead and dive into the last exercise. This is one of my favorite stretches for your lower back. It's simply a child's pose, something that people do in yoga. You're gonna put both hands straight out in front, kind of push your butt back, sink back into your heels, and just gently sit down here. You can really feel that good stretch do your lower back in this position. You're going to hold this for about 30 seconds to a minute. It's going to feel really good, loosen up a lot of those muscles. And by doing all 4 of those exercises every single day, you will greatly see some improvements in your back pain after standing. So go ahead and save this video, consult it every day for the future, send this to some friends who are struggling with the same thing, because I know I was dealing with this for a long time. It will greatly help them. And of course, the more you can do it, the more it will help you. So go ahead, drop a like if this video helped you. Comment down below if you have any questions about this too. I can help to answer them down in the comments below. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well, as we help individuals with all abilities improve their overall health and knowledge of the gym. And once you are done doing that, I want you to check out this video right here that talks all about what no one tells you about deadlifting. And this is a really good one you're going to want to check out, because so many people with back pain think they shouldn't deadlift, and this might tell you otherwise. So go check that out once you're done doing these stretches. And thanks so much for watching. Be all strong. I'm out of it, no man to tell me you know